1.5 hours left for our second point. How to keep alive the unique contributions of the Point Loma tradition today. So that is then the assignment for the second one. Let's say 20 minutes, and then we have a little bit left for discussion. Thank you very much. Good luck. I think the best is that the group on the right side starts.
Okay. Everyone can understand? Yeah. Well, it was not the most easiest discussion, but it was very, very good to try. I mean, the first question was exactly from what is that Point Loma characteristic? And does that mean that other people from other organizations could not have that characteristic too? Now, it is a kind of emphasis or a kind of characteristic within the whole Theosophical movement. And we think there is certainly such a kind of characteristic. And then, yeah, we tried to add a few insights about it. It has, when you look to the work of Kathleen Tingley and GDP, you can see a few main things. And by Kathleen Tingley, we think about the Raja Yoga method, seeing in each person the divine flame, etc., which you try to elude, to get out. And which also means is that it is not also a question of completeness of your actions. So we stressed a real Point Loma Tradition means not only studying, but you are also active in inspiring all sectors of the society. What you certainly see, what Kathleen Tingley did, but I think also went on by GDP in his way. So that balance of faculties of the Raja Yoga method, that is also what the whole Point Loma movement tries to do, to live the theosophy, and by that way to inspire in all sectors. Ed, when you think that I missed something?
You already said something about her living.
Yeah, exactly. Kathleen Tingley and also GDP also was the idea of a midwife, which is very important, I think, in the Point Loma tradition, because it's based on what you can call the giving the good surroundings for inner growth and for compassion, a kind of giving the good sphere where people can nourish that. It's also important here that GDP gave, of course, that a kind of, you can call it philosophy, so clear and so ordered in such a way that we can, really get all the seed thoughts of the secret doctrine. Perhaps it was not so much discussed in our group, but it is also a kind of tradition which we all try to keep. And also the guardian wall was spoken of, and then you had very interesting special questions like, what do you mean with a stone? What is that stone? Is it a human being, or is it also ideals, thoughts, which form the guardian wall? And you do not talk about stones just as individual ones, but they form a wall. So you cannot, in a certain way, but everyone, although we were just growing in insights, everyone thought, well, we can, in miniature, in the little, we can immediately start to try to become such a guardian wall stone. And even little kids can understand it, what True said. And I think that's true. The same idea. Another aspect is that keep to the basics, but the forms will change. Now that's easy to say, but it is, of course, we need all our insights to do that. Yeah, that's thought. Probably someone has another main thing. The Swabhava. Trying to understand your own Swabhava is in fact...
Of the Point Loma tradition,
Yeah.
it's not different, like Truth's remarks. Maybe what you referred to that.
Yeah, come in. Here. Marina. Yeah.
Okay, if you're looking at me, so nod if I'm right, and if not, shoot me. I think Truth was making a remark that, so are you trying to find out where you're different? And so we had a discussion about, is this being different or is this our Swabhava? And every unique organization has its unique Swabhava, its unique characteristics, like the ULT has its service element that it really brings into the, let's say, the ball game, right? And we here have a different tradition that we bring into it. So it's not so much it's different, but it's the unique Swabhava that's coming out, right? So we had a discussion about that. Thank you. And maybe one more thing, we have many more paramitas than anyone else, right?
We started our discussion about what to define what is the Point Loma tradition, and we came to the conclusion that you can divide it in two periods or two big distinctions. The KT period, where the focus was on the social activities, protest, demonstrations, the Raja Yoga education method, the being in touch with nature, playing outside in the garden, working together. And it was, I think they called it the Karma Yoga. And then after that, the GDP period with the focus on teaching the original teachings, the foundations. But in both these periods, focusing on carrying out to the future provided to the public. Okay, yeah, and then there was the, with GDP, the esoteric contents and the manner of teaching was the Eastern method. Is that right? Okay. Then, how to work for the Lodge of Compassion without meeting the masters. Well, the first thing that was brought up was a comment, I don't know who said it, but he said, we do our work anyway. And I think that was kind of the line of our discussion. You use your common sense, do what you can, look at the ordinary things, be patient, be honest, focus on your unique qualities. You have to offer the world what you have in yourself, put in practice what you already know, and live the universal teachings for yourself. How to cultivate and practice compassion in your daily life. One example that was given was random acts of kindness. You live according to the golden rule, then practice compassion. It's one step higher. And in the end, you're going to be compassionate and you don't even have to think about it. We talked about creating understanding for the mistakes of others, to be mild and have trust that people trying to do the right thing. People make mistakes, but that is not because they're really mean. They just have to learn as well. But you have to focus on the higher nature of people. Then the last question, what does it mean to be a stone in the guardian wall of this earth? It needs, you have to show courage. You stand up for the universal ideas of justice, and if the group agrees, I want to add, others will do that for you as well. So it's both a responsibility, but also a privilege.
I already heard it's a family business. And it's certainly a family business because also our group was talking about the what question first, like all the other groups have done. So what is the unique contribution of Point Loma? And we thought, well, what is the contribution of Point Loma, which they also do? And we came up with a few things, like living the Theosophical principles in daily life. So practice Theosophy in daily life. But the Raja Yoga system as an education was worked out in Point Loma. And also the 3 fundamentals and the 7 jewels were worked into a coherent system, which is still very helpful to society. Then we went to the second of the 3 questions first, how to cultivate and practice compassion in our daily life. And there are a few things we mentioned. Try to bring the principles into practice, so living the pledge, as was already mentioned. Then live up to your highest ideals. Keep in your heart loving kindness always as a permanent meditation. And then we noticed that compassion enforces knowledge, and knowledge enforces compassion. So that studying the teachings means that you do this with only one aim, and that is to pass them on to others. Then we concluded that what we do is living a theosophical life, or living the practice of compassion, is bringing out the boundless in yourself and in others, and learning by serving others exactly as the masters do. Then we entertained the question of being a stone in the guardian wall. And GDP said, love is the cement of the universe. And we thought that binds all the stones together. Which means that you forego your own growth to protect others. And it demands strength to absorb, for example, negativity and transform it. It also involves inspiration to inspire, to accept responsibility, and to work in cooperation. So our conclusion was that we are the Rolling Stone.
Okay. For me, a rolling stone is that clue in a wall. Sounds very dynamic. Reactions? Silence? Again? Oh no.
I just wanted to comment on the idea that we study the teachings for purpose of passing them on to others. I would say that there are other reasons for studying as well, that we study because of the inner changes that come about inside us because of this study, because we're growing and becoming better people because of that study. And the result of that might be that we teach the teachings to others, but it also might be that we just go out and do something else in the world. That it depends on our own unique contribution that we have to make, whether we're going to be teaching Theosophy or doing something else. And that's a matter of self-discovery. But the process of the study helps us discover ourselves and helps us learn to have original insights into things, and learns to us have a better picture of life and be more truly ourselves.
To clarify, what I commented upon in our discussion was that because I'm not that familiar with Parukher's writings and teachings or KTs, and I would have the same goal whether I was reading writing by Raghavan Iyer, who is someone that I like and am a little more familiar with, as if I was reading Peruk. And that's what I meant when I say that I wasn't looking for a difference, because for me it's about my svabhava and goal. And the response was that in the Perukar tradition there's a unique svabhava, and I agree with that. It's just that as an individual I wasn't looking for a difference. Do you understand?
Yes, absolutely. Other people? I was thinking that the second one was more complex than the first one. Principles is always easy to get some alignment. But if you start to speak about how to implement it and so on, the differentiations are more coming to the front.
Ask the question again tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow, if you look in the program for tomorrow, I have something to say in this direction. But I must say you all are a great help in that. Yeah. So, good. Then I think we have a little bit of time to think about point 3.